Hey everybody, welcome back to Sunday night where we get together and play Dungeons & Dragons with our crew here for Like a Clockwork. This is our first time back since the holidays. I hope everybody had a great holiday and however you celebrate, I hope it went well for you. And I'm excited to kind of get back into the swing of things here, especially since it's been a minute, and I'm just glad to be here, honestly. I did have to move over the holiday break, and I'm still in the midst of that, and I was busy doing some stuff today, so the reason we're a little bit late is because I had to put at least a couple of bites of food in me, or else we would have had Hangry Dungeon Master, and Hangry Dungeon Master is never a good thing. So... with that, it is after the holidays. It's been like 3 or 4 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 4 weeks, I think, since we last gathered together. So perhaps some amazing, wonderful things have happened since then, and we want to really quickly talk about that. So I'm going to start with Roland, who always has all kinds of things to say.
Just the most compelling life. Just always busy and doing like really new and exciting ventures. Not really though. So that's what I got. I got nothing. I guess I could say that I'm moving pretty soon. I live in Seattle right now for people watching, and I'm going to be moving back home to the 50th state. Yes, there are 50 states. One of them is an island mass in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and that's I'm going back there. So that's news. That's all I got, really, though.
Yeah. When about are you leaving?
I'm thinking April, but if I can get my stuff together faster, then maybe March.
Okay. Well, hopefully, you can get it done without a lot of headache and hassle.
Just a fun fact for everyone. Google says that both Hawaii and Alaska were admitted as our 49th and 50th states in 1959. So Hawaii could have easily been the 49th instead of the 50th.
I feel like that's one of those memes, like no one, : John.
Did you know?
I guess it's fun for me.
Okay, well, with that, John, what else is going on? We'll head over to you and see what's going on.
Or other interesting facts.
Portlandia, or here's a chance.
I mean, I have tons of interesting facts. I don't know if anybody wants to hear them.
Just a few ounces. Just a few ounces.
I bought Russell Stover chocolates today, and they were awful. So be aware of that buying Valentine's candy this year, is that something doesn't taste right about them. So if Russell Stover wants to send me like 10 pounds of chocolate to prove me wrong, feel free to do so. Actually, for this new year, I have a few different projects in rotation. One of them is a secret project I can't talk about yet. But I have 2 projects I can talk about. The first is my podcast, Everything is Gay, Even the Straight Stuff, which you can find on Anchor. And I think it finally made it onto Google Podcasts, and I'm working on iTunes, which takes forever. But I have a podcast where my friend Magnus, who is an English author, and I, as an American playwright, talk about pop culture and everything that is both gay and perceived gay within it. Our first episode was on the Golden Girls, and we're recording another one soon. I also have a Kickstarter currently for my first musical that I've written, Cobblestone Kingdom, which, if you search on Kickstarter, was weird. If you search on Kickstarter for the word Cobblestone Kingdom will come up, and it's a queer take on the Cinderella narrative, and it's super cool. And I'm having a giveaway right now, actually, that I'm going to be announcing on Monday. So if you back it before noon on Monday, you could potentially win a bag of Lindor truffles, which are delicious because I quality tested a separate bag and they were great. So come be part of the experience. I feel like that's something Panabon would say, but also I guess something John's going to say. So come be a part of the queer experience.
Okie dokie. I'm in for it. So That is Portland. We're going to swing back up to Seattle for Randy, who I feel like I haven't seen you for like a minute, man, and I'm always
That's
excited
fair.
to see you. I mean, it was only like one week that you missed, but it was like the last week. So then it's like
Yeah,
you know,
I get it.
break.
I get it.
So, anyway,
So, yeah, what's going on here is a lot. This year is a lot already, but in a good way. So I'm doing a stream for Band of Badgers, which is this company out of the UK. They're doing a D&D Kobold Press Scarlet Citadel game, where I'm in that. I'm also doing another stream on Dragons and Things, where we're playing Pathfinder. It's set in like a fantasy sort of East Asian and South Asian inspired sort of homebrew world, so that's pretty cool. And then obviously Harbingers is coming back, so we're shooting it live. So I'm in LA for a couple of weeks, in a few weeks, and then
nice.
doing some more streaming and stuff. There was also, this is really cool. If you want, you can follow Twitch Lonzo Gonzo and see the Latin American sort of discussion panel where there's 2 days. One was in Spanish, one is in English, but you can listen to a lot of Latino and Latina and Latinx artists who talk about our lives and growing up Latinx in the U.S. So
Can you drop that in the chat?
I can, yeah. So one
Yeah,
second,
we should.
but yeah, that was me.
Should definitely be checking that out. Okay, Alex, tell us about the Merriment of Chicago.
Yeah, so I lead a way more exciting life than Roland, but probably not by much. I went sledding today for the first time in like, I don't know.
That is way more
10
exciting.
years. I didn't want to go either. My sister though was like, we're going and we're taking the kids and the whole family, and I was like, it's cold. Why would you want to do that? And my husband's like, I can smoke cigars with the guys. Yeah, let's go. And so I found myself there, and then my little one's only 3, so I didn't trust him to go by himself, so I actually had to do it, and I did. And I was like, oh yeah, this is a lot of fun, isn't it? Because I'm an old curmudgeon, and that's what happens.
Aww.
I see.
I love how you always explain yourself as being like cranky and mean.
I really am. That's how I feel inside.
Well,
Don't feel, Alex. Don't feel.
whatever that means. Sarah, it is 2022, and there are big things in store.
Yeah.
Give us a few ounces.
A few ounces is that we are. Oh man, Rem has had some good shit happen lately. So not only the biggest news is that the Coddlesworth Kickstarter is gearing up. We're getting close to being ready. We're thinking the beginning of March for a launch, so we can have a month to market it and get our reach as far as possible and reach all the goals. So Danny can have an illustrated version of the book, or I'm sorry, not illustrated, colored. He wants color.
we want to color all the pages.
The first illustrated.
Yeah, first
graphic
illustrated.
novel.
Wow, it's been a long day. So that's cool stuff. Rem is planning on doing 6 Kickstarters this year, which is huge. And then we also are contracting right now to get some Shadowrun, the actual Shadowrun game will be running some Kickstarters for them, which is really cool. And that'll grow our audience quite a bit, so I'm really excited for that. And I just started recording an audiobook for them. It's part of a trilogy. It's called Born to Run, which is the Kellen Colt series, and that's really cool. So lots of cool stuff. Am I forgetting anything? Well, what else is happening?
I have one thing that you don't know about is that I actually am writing a couple of missions for Shadowrun, so
Cool.
I'm also doing Shadowrun mission stuff, which is really neat.
That's awesome.
I don't know if that's legal to talk about, but I'm talking about it anyway.
Yeah, if you're writing for the missions, do it. Yeah. So lots of Shadowrun stuff happening with Rem. Lots of partnerships, lots of growth. So it's looking to be a good year for us.
Awesome.
Maybe I can play with things while we're playing and do a sneak peek of the teaser when we get back from break or something.
Oh, that'd be nice. That's pretty wild. You know it's good when like we're still months out and Sarah keeps wanting to just show it to everybody. Like that's how you know something's good, right?
Winston did it, and he is just chef's kisses at everything he does.
Right. So, well, with that, I mean, that's everybody. I'm excited. The book is about 2/3 of the way illustrated, and we're about to get into it. Let's not wait any longer. It's about that time.
You're muted, Danny.
God, I am not muted anymore. I have defeated the computer again. So when we last were with our intrepid adventurers, they were in the city of Jalaluti, which is the kind of like the capital of Vaishan. Vaishan is more like a federation of several city-states, but it is the main city, and it is where the main Rotoro of all of Vaishan resides. And it's an interesting city. It's built in a sort of a canyon delta, and so it just reaches down into all these cracks and crevices throughout the delta of the river. And so our adventurers have arrived there. They seem to have lost track of Rosalia, their elf companion.
Not really. I'm drawing eyeballs everywhere to make sure that once Rosalia comes back, that they can find us.
True story. That said, you have lost track of her. You're hoping that she will find her way back, but yes. And of course, after several weeks on camelback, traveling through the desert on your caravan, you did decide, well, Aegis decided, and most of you followed suit, that a bath was in order. A very nice bath at a very nice bathhouse. And so you did take care of that. Well, except for Shaylin, who decided she'd rather kind of shore up the security at the Blue Drip Lodge that they're staying at, and also maybe try to help keep Zivid busy. And I think then she went off to find the money changers so that she could send off a letter to her family or see if she had received a letter from her family. Shaylin was looking to see if she received.
Yeah.
Leaving from the bathhouse first was Lox, who decided to go check and see if maybe he could find a money changer to send a letter of his own. And the others, after leaving the bathhouse, pulling Zivid away from the poor hostess who was trying to figure out exactly what Zivid wanted or was getting at.
At least he thinks it was Zivid because that was the name that I used.
Zivid,
Panabon
yes.
gave her the name Zivid. So yeah, that worked out great.
I'm sure Lachlan didn't leave mad about being pushed in the mud from the bathhouse either. I'm sure there's no residual anger about that because it was all a good fun.
He only left right away and right afterwards, but no coincidence there.
It'll be fine.
And as they left, they were attacked by an assassin, by assassins or an assassin with lackeys. Not sure, because the one that almost managed to kill Panabon, Perunia stepped in the way of that attack and took the brunt of it for herself. And that individual got away. The other two were quickly dispatched between Aegis, Panabon, and Perunia. And so with that, they were heading back. We're heading back. Did you get back? Oh man, it's been 3 weeks.
We did. We did go back.
We did, yeah. Because there was the time lapse. And I was getting bullied at the end because people were telling me how to do my job as we were going to
We
the
got
house.
our map. We had then Panabon go to actually meet with the Thieves Guild in the city.
Oh yeah, that happened.
Yes. Panabon remembered almost all the things they were supposed to say to them. And then Prunia's like, well, did you ask about Famgesu? And
most important part.
Oh, shoot. And ran back inside and left a message at the bar.
There was a secret message. What was it again?
Yeah. Yeah, what was the secret message?
So the secret message is I asked about the number of beanstalks in the garden.
Because that makes sense. I'm sure they got that message.
For a thief, it makes sense, and then you write the note. And so the whole idea here is that I'll see to how they leave notes for people to find, like if they drop in or if it just kind of floats down from the heaven. It's all good. It's all good things to be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Everything will be fine. It'll be great.
We're all certain it's going to be fine.
Yes.
And so everybody went back. Shaylun was
at the library, I believe.
At the library, or heading to the library.
Oh,
and the rest of you, I think that's what you're going to do.
Okay. Don't forget that I did a very good job at covering our tracks too, because I went to like 4 different inns so people could be like, yeah, I've seen her, and she's not anywhere else but here.
You absolutely did a thing. Absolutely. That is exactly what happened. All right,
We have
so
hotel rooms all over this city now.
Yep.
Yes. So with that, I believe that the group has decided that they are working on deciding what exactly they're going to do, whether they're going to go to the library first or they're going to go and try and check out the scholar's abode. I
think Panabon has a mission to do now. I think that's what's happening.
You're all telling me very badly, by the way. Y'all are not sneaky at all. I love you, but you're not sneaky people.
Sneaky? For what? What do we have to be sneaky for? It's you. You're the sneak.
Well, the more attention
I'm going to slap you on your ass and sit down and drink tea and wait for you to come back.
And I'll have you know, I'm decently sneaky. I am decently sneaky. Maybe not as good as you, but decent.
I mean, on your own, you're decently sneaky. When you have Mr. Shield with you,
it's true.
The beautiful shield that draws attention that I'm still waiting to get to sand surf on.
I'm not
one day.
I don't try to be sneaky.
Well, we could split up the group. We could have Aegis go meet Shaylun at the library, and I can go with these folks to go check out the scholar's home, and depending on our casing the joint, we can either go ahead and take a look, or we can wait for Aegis and Shay to be done at the library and all go together tonight when it's actually dark out. Because if I remember, we left pretty early in the morning, and it's just about probably lunchtime at this point.
Am I with them at this point? Okay.
No.
No. However, there is an opportunity for you to sort of catch up with everybody, or for them to catch up with you if that's how things that's how you want things to pan out.
I should go back and get Zivid, right? To the lodge. No, because I
we
want
should
him
keep
staying
him
there.
at the lodge.
Yeah,
Yes.
he stays.
Yes.
I remember now.
Also, I've been telling people I am Zivid. Because obviously they're looking to stab a gnome, so...
You told the one person that you were Zivid.
One person, and that is equal to everyone.
Very loudly, I told the
And
one person at the
and
high-end
hopefully-
bathhouse that I'm Zivid, which means that anybody else in the vicinity of hearing at the high-end bathhouse now thinks I'm Zivid. Hence why people tried to shoot me and they didn't succeed because there's like 4 of them.
Yes, because there's
You
no possible
think
way
that's
anyone would
why.
want to shoot Panabon.
Yeah.
Delightful! I'm delightful.
Now I'm remembering what we talked about last session.
So,
This is bringing back everything.
all right, now, what are we gonna do here, Loxo?
I was under the impression that Panabon is doing some sort of information gathering or reconnaissance.
I believe that is what we were leaning towards. What say you, Perunia?
I want to make sure, like, that if we get into a situation against magic users, that we have Shay with us. So I wouldn't want to go do reconnaissance that actually then turned into a thing without Shay. So I'm a little bit worried about that. Maybe we go to the library, go get her, and then do recon. I just know how we do recon. We're not very good at it, and therefore it turns into another thing. And
It
that,
should be fine. Panabon is very sneaky and very good at
yes, but you and I
deceiving.
are not.
I'm not going. My place is not to be sneaky in a scholar's home. I'm not going.
Okay, then alternatively, if we have Lox and Panabon enter the home or recon the home, I could be out on the street within an easy, shout where I can run in and do things if we want to do that. And
See me
agent
pulling
can
out-
go get Shay.
You see me pulling out my tea setup.
I go. I kind of like the idea of Miss Shayloon being with us. She has that invisible spell, and I think that could be very useful for some reconnaissance potentially. Why don't we head to the library? We inform her of what's going on, and then we head on over and do some reconnaissance. If that's okay with you too, Panabon.
I'm waiting to see how I receive the message that I have sent off. And so I will know exactly how they send off messages, and also maybe there's something really cool at the library to steal, like information-wise.
Every time somebody
Never steal a book.
presents a new thing, I like take the thing out of my bag and then I put it back in. And then someone's like, "Oh, we're gonna go somewhere." I take it out. Trying to wait for like a decision.
Okay, library.
Also,
Library. I consult
Also,
the map that I have.
I would like everyone to remember that at the Scholar's House, it's going to be very Dragonborn heavy. So if you're not Dragonborn, there's immediate suspicion. But just so you're aware that if you're not Dragonborn, you're going there, you're going to stick out no matter what you do.
Ooh, I could pretend to be sneaky. That's probably.
I mean,
a bad
that's
idea.
my thought.
We'll come back to that.
I mean, you are Avril Revenge, so you can really do anything you want to do.
Lot sits down next to Aegis and takes some tea.
To the library. To the library. To the library. So while you guys pull out your tea, I consult the map because it probably does take Prunia a minute because this is not a strength of hers. Her intel is not exactly super high, so it does take me way longer than it should an average person with average intelligence to figure it out. And then I go, okay, guys, I got it. And so then I can lead the group to the library.
I look at Perunia as we're leaving, and I go, "That map is right side up, correct? We're not going south, and we want to go north."
I
Just
look
making
again.
sure.
Make a survival roll.
All right, let's find out.
To burst your bubble, I'm just like having trouble with you previously. Let's just double check to make sure.
Yeah, that's fair. At least survival is wisdom. That helps me better. Nope. I turn it over. I start reading it over again because it was in fact upside down. You guys can have a couple more.
Can I look over Perunia's shoulder and try to figure out where we're going? Can I try?
I mean, that's up to you
I'm
guys.
going to try. I'm
I don't
going
think
to
I need to adjudicate that.
I'm also letting this happen because I've been bullied for the past 10 minutes telling me how to do my job. So I'm not interfering in this because this is amusing.
I see Perunia sort of take the map again to sort of reorient herself, and I walk over and go and sort of point, and there's like, all right, got it. Yeah. I like turn it a little bit.
Oh, that makes so much more sense now. Okay, yeah, thank you, Lox.
Yeah.
In fact, why don't you hold this? I hand it to him.
Fine,
I
yeah.
have a question about the maps in the city, actually, for Danny.
Yes.
Do the maps have an overlay of the different levels? Because I know there's traveling through levels. So is it one map, or do we just have the map for the level we're on?
So this map is probably the worst map ever for this kind of city. It is just a single map of the top down, and then it's got like a bunch of places sort of pinned where it would be, and then a number. The number might be the level. You assume that's the level, but it doesn't actually like get into the nitty gritty. So it's mostly at best giving you a sort of approximate. So like if something says, the bakery on level 5, you know about where it is, but it doesn't tell you like what's the best way to get there, where you're going to go down and up the various levels and
It's
stairs.
like those tour maps with just like little pictures of what the what the landmark is, but no good directions.
Rooney doesn't feel so bad now.
So since all the towers are kind of down and hanging from the top of the canyon like thing, is the open air graveyard just when they throw things out the windows and it just hits the bottom of the canyon somewhere?
No, that's the creepy sewer where we have to go because that's where Danny wants us to go to find the thing. We've also got the creepy sewer mission to do while we're here.
If they have a
Look
graveyard, I would like
right
to light
there.
it on fire.
So yeah, you don't know where the open air graveyard is here, if it even has one. Not necessarily every city in Vaishan has one, but if they did have one, it would be wherever the Gazadobe is, which is, of course, the
Open air graveyard.
section where there's the most poverty. Because it is the people who cannot afford to have a nice funeral that end up at the open air graveyard.
Lowborns.
We look around like all of us.
I didn't say that.
All right, so I head confidently in the direction that I think it is.
Okay. So everybody is heading now to the library.
And anytime I
We're
need to do
all
a
heading to the
perception check,
district.
I am making perception checks left and perception. I'm trying to perceive everything I can perceive
I'll perceive
Me
too.
too.
where we're going. Just in case, because you never know.
It looks safe to me.
It's not just about safety.
Oh,
I'm
me too.
perceiving-
It's there's nothing going on.
Fine, yeah.
I'm perceiving for so many things.
Oh man, it looks great to all of us.
This is me.
We have no danger whatsoever.
I'm skipping towards
Walking around with the tea that I made.
Danny's looking at those and he's like, I gotta take advantage of that. Look at that face.
It's a good thing I'm not hangry.
Woohoo!
All right.
Not yourself when you're hangry.
So yeah, you are making your way through. And meanwhile, Shaylun,
Mm-hmm.
You are heading towards the library.
Yep.
And of course, you're going to arrive there far earlier than the rest of these folks.
I stopped to check the hours because if they're anything like the libraries back home, they have really weird hours, especially if school isn't in session, and sometimes they close at noon for no reason. And...
Yeah, that's legit. I mean, that's
Because that way I know, like, can I stay here all night? Can I stay here late? Or does it close at 5 p.m.?
right. Well, as you check the hours per se, you find yourself in front of one of the few sorts of buildings that is not nestled into the walls of the cliff sides. They've erected a very large walkway here, and in this very large walkway, they have set up this very fine building. There's a dome on one end. There are several steps in the front that you would walk up to get there. And there's a very large book placed right out front. And
what book is
like
it?
it's a statue of a
Oh.
book. It's not actually a book. Like,
Does it
trying
have
to turn the
words
pages.
carved into it?
It does have words carved into it.
I read it.
Of course you do. It's something to the effect of the power of knowledge and how wisdom is the key to progress and peace and prosperity. And it's fairly trite.
And there's a shooting star that says, "The more you know."
I roll my
On the
eyes
top
and
of it.
continue inside.
Actually, like inside of each letter is actually like a little spell, and it's like just for the most.
She
learned
misses
people.
all of it.
Okay. So as you enter into the library, a very large pair of doors, you find yourself in what appears to be some kind of waiting room. Hard to say. There's nobody here except for one person sitting on the other side of the counter. They look up as you walk in, set down a book that they're perusing. There are several chairs in front of the counter on your side. And there's doors to the left and the right. They're both closed. And then there's a door behind the fellow in the counter. That's the situation.
I look around to see if there's like any kind of instruction on the layout, like fiction this way, history this way, arcane this way.
Geometry is not necessarily your strongest subject. You're not necessarily weak in it. It's not your strongest, but you are well versed enough in geometry to know that this teeny tiny room is not where you're ultimately trying to get.
Right.
The library is
more
huge.
meant, like,
you're in a
through-
small place.
Through these
The
doors.
answer is no.
Thanks. Okay. So I'm going to have to talk to the dude, is what Danny's saying. All right.
Or you can scoot through a door.
I'd rather not talk to anyone. I'm going to try a door and see if someone stops me and makes me talk to them.
Okay. Are you going to try the door to your right or the door to your left?
Whichever one seems more promising.
There's one to your right and one to your left. I will say
Right.
that the door that's on the other side of the counter is on the right side.
So I can see into it a little bit? Or,
No, it's closed.
okay. I'll try the one on the right then, the one behind the counter and to the right, because that leads in.
Shayloon's enemy today is social anxiety.
Well, you can't go in the door. You can't go through the door that's on the behind the counter because you have to jump the counter.
Oh,
And
I
you don't
thought
know
like
if
I
that's
was
true.
imagining like a kiosk situation. Okay. Fine. Just give me the other door then, left, because I have so many options that
I just keep thinking about the riddle where like there's one door that's the real and one door is fake, and then they both have lava behind them or something like that. You get the two people that one tells you the lie, one tells you the truth.
Except you don't ask the person anything.
No. Which one looks more promising?
One has a handle closer to the wall on the outside of the building, and one's handle is closer to the interior of the building. I don't know. Literally, they just look the same. You're in a room that is divided in the middle, and both sides are the same.
Dear audience,
all right.
I'm sorry we've spent the last 5 minutes deciding what door I should go through. The one on the left.
So as you suspected would happen, as you go to the door and reach out to open it, the person at the counter just kind of...
Maybe he's just clearing his throat, and I continue.
The door is not locked, and you start to push it open, and the fellow says, "Membership, ma'am."
I need
in
a
Ashani, of course.
I need a library card. Amazing. I'll turn and go. I don't have one. Can I sign up?
Are you a resident of the great city?
I'm just a visitor.
Visiting from where? And with that, he sets the book he was reading aside and pulls out a ledger and flips it open, grabbing a pen.
I need my map of the world pulled up. Probably
is where you are from.
I know. I don't want to say that. I have a very Einalundian accent, so I don't want to be like Denong. And I don't want to say Merkaldashta because I don't want anyone tracing me from there. So
It's stopping her.
My East
I'm having such a good time right now.
I do speak very good Ashani, so
Are you gonna lie and say you're from the country that homeboy is from? Because that sounds worse.
Well, there's cities everywhere, right? So
there are a lot of cities.
What's another city in Ireland that I can lie about?
Make a deception check as
I'm
you
so
lie
good at
about the
those!
city. Okay, look, it's the DC is not going to be high. There's no reason for him to disbelieve you, right? But there's a chance that you could absolutely flub it.
I feel like this is one of those scenarios. I feel like this is the scenario where you look around the room and you're like, book, lamp, door, book, lamp, door.
Lampira! Remember? That's how we got Lampira. From Lampira.
That's so the name I'm giving, by the way.
Chat, please help Shayloon pick a city. Shot.
Okay, so you rattle off the name of one of the cities up in Ireland.
Which is?
We'll tell you in a minute. And
Danny's creating a city right now, everyone, live on Twitch.
Right now, you are forcing me to create a city. That's what's happening.
This is how I contribute to the
chat,
lore, Danny.
maybe you can give us some facts for said city that may or may not get used, but we would love to see.
How many open air graveyards does this city have?
We haven't been there yet. Alex is the one that creates the open air graveyards.
I'm going to murder all of you.
How many promising doors does this city have?
See, if it was me, I just would have gone in and stabbed them, and then that's the end of the conversation right there.
Definitely would have said an exchange student from Dagnong.
I'm not a good
Can
liar.
be from anywhere.
This reflects my not good lying.
Indeed. 1 second. Almost there. The city that you have named that you are not actually from and would never have been created ever in the history of anything except right now.
Get ready, World Anvil!
Forced it to be created. Ergo, now I have to get all up in my World Anvil and...
What can I say except you're welcome?
It took every ounce of me not to join in singing there.
Love you, Randy. I love my token's face in Fantasy Grounds because I feel like it's the exact face she makes when they're like, "Where are you from?"
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Which I believe if you join us in the Discord, we actually have our faces as like emoji reaction things, right?
I'm
As a
buying you
bonus
time,
for
Danny.
anyone.
Yes, I am aware. I'm just going to see if I can't.
Squeeze.
Skulis
Skulis.
is the name of the city.
I'm from Skulis.
Let's write that down somewhere.
Writing it down.
Skulis.
Okay, so
I am from Schoolies too.
Oh,
I've always wanted to go there.
don't you just love promising door number 5?
he writes that. So he did write that down. And what is your business in the great city?
Traveling for school.
Is there a grand university in Skulis? I had not heard.
Oh, it's more of a an independent study. I'm from Skulis, but I didn't go to school there.
What school did you attend?
Are you making this harder on me or on you, Danny? Because
What's my university's rival university? Because that's what I would say.
Oh yeah, nice.
that's a good one. What is the Noble University of Deseren's rival university, Danny?
The Noble University of Deseren's rival university
Windows.
is not that. That was garbage.
I'm having such a
World
good time right
Anvil,
now.
it did its best.
And even
It's not World Anvil. It's I'm trying to.
Lotus.
Yeah. So the
Your toes?
University of Lotos.
Lotus.
Starts with an L.
Lotos.
Lotos.
The Noble University of Lotos.
I don't know.
You
If
have to say it with that long, like.
I don't know if you call it the Noble, except
home of
The
the
shitty-
wild
I mean,
doors.
The University of Lotos.
I see.
Go
And-
Bobcats.
Okay, go
Way
Bobcats.
too much fun.
I'm gonna just let's put that there. Go Bobcats. All right. Do universities even have mascots here? Now they do.
Yeah.
Because why not? Very good. And your name?
Lampira.
Lampirs. Is that a Melvedian name?
It's well, you know, gnomes are nomadic largely.
I see. Oh, well,
Family name.
very, very good. And speaking of family name, what is the family name? Surname, if you will.
Flaglight. Flaglight.
The Lampere Flaglight.
This is the flag, everyone.
Oh, great flag.
Yes.
Very well, Miss Flaglight.
I secretly am thinking I'm really glad none of the other group is here.
If you could wait a moment, I'll be right back. And he takes the ledger and walks out the back door.
You in danger, girl.
There's lots of chairs to sit in, or you can go through any of the doors now.
I would like to go through the door.
Okay, you go through the door that you were originally going through. Screw this guy. You find yourself in a hallway. that leads up further into the library. There is a door as you're kind of walking, you make a turn. There's a door on the left side, and then at the end of the hall, a door on the right. The door on the right, your geometry skills tell you, will take you closer to the dome. The door on the left, your geometry skills tell you is bullshit. Also, the title and name on the door of head librarian and Ishani, and then the name.
Okay, so I want to go toward the dome, I guess. So dome.
Okie dokie. You now find yourself in a very large corridor. Down the hall, down this corridor, it's very wide, is the door that you're pretty sure that clerk must have walked out of. But you don't see the clerk. There is another door at the far end of the hall, and then there's a door that looks like maybe that's the way you would have come if you had chosen the other door from the main foyer that you entered. And then there's these huge double doors kind of right. So if the corridor is lengthwise this way, in the middle on that wall is just these, like, I mean, they're like maybe 10 feet each door wide, and it's a double door, and then maybe like 20 feet tall.
If I were a library, I would live there. So I'm going to go there.
You feel confident about that. And you move up and start to push the door open. And it is big, and it swings ponderously. That's a good word. Yes. It takes a little bit of might to push, but you eventually push it open, and inside you are in another hallway. This seems to be some sort of antechamber. And on either side of the room are statues. One is black, one is white. They are of some scholar reading a tome of some sort. There's some sort of pattern in the tile that you can't really make out from your short position. And then another set of ponderously large double doors on the other side.
I read the names and the descriptions on the statues.
There are no names on the statues. There is instead a trite description that basically states how knowledge can be used for the benefit of all, for good, for peace, yada yada, just as it can be used to cause harm and to inflict pain and war.
I keep going.
You're not interested in the philosophy of knowledge?
No.
Anyway. Okay, so the moment that you have ostensibly been waiting for, or not waiting, pushing towards, because, of course, you want books. You push through these double doors, and inside you find, first, you are practically assaulted by the scent of books. Books have a scent. And here they are attacking you.
What?
In a way.
How
In the way.
Smoothie, Macaulay Culkin was in it.
In the way that a lot of times when you are suddenly hit by a scent that is important to you, but maybe you haven't smelled in a long time, like this wave of nostalgia kind of like almost overcomes you completely. Like it's overpowering almost.
I was thinking that too. It reminds me of the university.
Indeed, it likely does remind you very much of the university.
I really want to go home.
And you see that inside of this dome, as it were, And it's a huge dome. I mean, it's really big. The walls of the dome on either side are lined with books, just bookshelves, maybe 3 or 4 levels high. And then inside of this dome are just stacked in circles or more shelves. There must be thousands upon thousands of books here. More books than the University of Discern has, certainly. Whether or not the content is better or worse, you couldn't say without going through them all, but yeah, there's a fuck ton of books. And in the middle are 3 desks, and at one of them you see the gentleman talking to a person sitting at the desk.
Can I stay out of sight, like around a corner? And
Would you like to duck out of sight? Is what I hear you saying. You can try to, as you have just pushed this big giant door open.
Oh shit!
Make a stealth check and try to dart off to the side before they look and see.
Yeah. As soon as Sorry, is this where the bathroom is? Somewhere?
The gentleman stands up. Miss Flaglight. The librarians have agreed that you may study here.
Oh, thanks.
The bathroom is back the way you came, and outside of the foyer, you will go to the left, and at the end of the hall, you will find the door to the bathroom.
Thank you. I'm gonna. Oh,
Go to the bathroom.
I'll kind of like turn like I'm going, and then remember. Also, are there where are the sections on science and arcane studies and Ishani cooking?
I shall leave you in the hands of the librarians, and they will show you what you need to know, what you seek. Welcome to the library. On your way out, please stop by, and I will make sure that I have your membership card ready for you.
Thanks.
Indeed. And he heads out, and leaving you with, there are 3 librarians. Each sits at their own desk, and the one that he was speaking to looks at you expectantly. She is in the years before middle age, maybe in her 30s, human, Ishani. And she smiles as you head over.
Hi, I just was hoping you could point me in the direction of those 3 sections, so when I'm done with the loo, I could not bother you again.
Cooking and the arcane, I believe you said?
Yes, and science.
And science.
It's for a paper. Also, I just want to cook dinner.
She smiles at that. The section on cooking can be found in the second circle. Just over there, she points at a stack of books. The sciences will be found in the first circle. as she points almost the opposite direction. And finally, before you can study the arcane, we will need to understand the nature of your study. That information is generally limited to the scholars.
Yes, it's for a paper on the science of magic. So you know, you have the different sciences. You have physics, and you have chemistry, and you have all the different sciences. And is magic just one more science that we haven't discovered up until now? And we know, you know, just understanding the links between the arcane and science, and how they're similar and how they are different. Like what makes potion making arcane versus chemistry, for example.
I am sure that that is all very legitimate. Unfortunately, we would need one of the scholars to accompany you or to vouch for you before we could allow access to those tomes.
I don't mind being accompanied.
Do you have a scholar in mind to sponsor you?
No. Can I meet someone? Tell them about my papers?
I am certain you can. That is not necessarily in the realms of our duties as a librarian.
You don't have any scholars that come here often that you're aware of that I could meet?
Would you like to leave a message for the first scholar that arrives at the library from this point?
Or you could get the home address and then meet us at the dude's house.
I don't know if they're going to give out this guy's address, anyone's address.
No, I was just joking.
Tell you what, I plan on being here because I've got lots of work to do. So I'll start in the sciences, and if in the science C section, and if someone comes in while I'm working, you can just maybe point them out to me, and I'll take it from there.
Lovely. Absolutely. No issues with that whatsoever. And with that, do you go to the bathroom first?
Yes, because deception.
Because that's what I said. All right.
You don't have the Scholars Only app, Shayloon?
Considering I'm on the run.
I'm gonna roll up and be a fake scholar. Hello, I'm a scholar.
Swiping through scholars.
Yeah. My mind went other places just then. So the rest of you.
I'm gonna swipe right on that scholar.
Lonely at scholarsonly.com.
This is what's happening right now. Okay. The rest of you arrive at the library, and just as Shayloon did before you, it is an impressive building. It is a large dome at the end of a building, and then a flight of steps that go up. Think about any like monument that has like steps that go up to it, right? Like the Washington, the Lincoln Memorial, or something like that. And of course, the very large statue of a book. Would it be a statue of a book?
I'm going to stab it regardless of what it is,
Still a
because the
statue.
statues are coming to life now. So I'm going to stab it with my magic dagger that stabs stone, just in case. Just in case.
I see.
Very discreetly. Like, I'm not
I want to
like,
walk over to the
stab it.
clerk or whatever. Just like right up to the desk and be like, hello, we're traveling through town. We have a friend who may have come through here. A little gnomish woman, kind of funny, interesting accent.
Are you speaking in Ashani?
No, I'm speaking in common, and so I'm hoping that this person understands.
I
the
follow
dialogue.
behind him.
He
But I
looks
act like I know what I'm doing. Like I lean on the desk, and it's like, all right.
sure. So he looks at you, and he nods. You speak of Miss Flaglight, yes?
No, that is not who we are looking for.
Flag light.
Shut up, Aegis!
She has a
I'm like,
Ina Lundy accent.
yeah, Ina Lundy.
Whatever the hell, an Ina Landian.
Melvedian,
Milvedian.
That accent.
because that makes sense. Yes, Miss Flaglight. She arrived.
Look at everybody else.
I describe what she looks like the kinds of clothes she wears. And I'm like, does Miss Flaglight, is she wearing what? She's probably carrying a book and a feather, like quill pen.
I'm just saying that now would be a perfect time to switch it, where like the clerk guy thinks these guys are hunting me because they don't know my last name, and he tries to protect me.
He is confused, and his question is, do you not know your friend's name?
By
No.
the way, I don't stop. I just like go for a door and just start walking through. Like I'm
The
not
right
even
or left
gonna
door?
talk- whichever one Sarah didn't take, whichever one Shaylun didn't take, is the one that I'm going to go through.
The right or left door?
Know that about that.
I don't know which door Shaylun. I'll just go through. I'll go through the right door. I'll go through the right door. Yeah.
You have chosen wisely for what you want to do.
Hey, I don't know what I want to do. I'm just like, all right.
I go, we don't, we just met while we were traveling. So I'm sorry if I'm, not the best, but she probably would have wanted to go to some magic tomes or tomes about, I don't know, cooking or something.
This is the metagamiest, and I'm kind of okay with it.
Yeah, so
Said very much like a throwaway, like, now something. You know?
yeah, so oops, that's not what I wanted to do.
Is the ledger open? Because if so, I want to try to perceive it.
We're just kind of,
Oh my
I'm
God,
just
we're
like
gonna have a
leaning
fight in the
over using my
library.
height.
You mean the ledger that he is
That he
He wrote
wrote
it.
in. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that he's wrote in. Yeah, it's open. It's got
Lampira. Yeah, that's it. Lampira. Yep, that's her. Mm-hmm.
it does
We
say
go
Lampira.
by first names in our crew, you know?
Let's see.
Yes, that's definitely her. I say in Ashani.
Very
I like
good.
that you threw it in his own language. That was really friendly.
It also says that checked with the librarian and approved access. So, are you part of her research?
Oh,
Group?
definitely.
I lean on the desk. I go, "Do I look like a scholar?" Like I'm the exact opposite of Perugia. Perugia's like yes, and I'm like no way.
So you see it at the same time. Well, I am.
Yeah, I'm the hired bodyguard of Miss Shaylun. She does go to. I got hit probably by Perugia. I mean Lampira. Yes.
Y'all are just bad at this.
We are.
I hate you guys so much.
So bad at it. This is why I don't stop to talk to people. I just kept going. What were they going to do? Stop me?
No, we were distracting him. We helped you, okay?
Yeah, that was good distraction. Good distraction.
You went through the door.
You haven't
made
done
it.
anything yet.
I literally just through
You
the door.
haven't
I
done
don't know
anything
where I
yet.
am.
You went through a door and he didn't see you probably. So
Yeah.
maybe.
I'm exhausted.
I'm waiting on Danny's rebuttal. What's going on, Danny?
I'm waiting for Danny's map to load.
I'm just
There's a map.
There's
Yeah,
a map,
it's-
but it's
well,
not loaded.
it's not that it's not loading. It's
Oh,
that
you
you
didn't
guys
release it. Yes, that's fair.
We're in the
aren't
wrong area.
you guys. So hold on, let me put you in the map. Now that you guys,
I have to see the
Have a
map
map.
first.
yeah,
It's the
yeah.
map. It's the map. It's the map.
Vetoed.
So,
Vetoed.
1, 2, 3, 4, and real quick.
Oh. Make sure you get a stuffed bobcat for Christmas next year or something, Sarah. Little stuffed wild bobcat.
It's my college mascot, which is why I.
There we are. Ooh, we're so tiny.
Everybody's.
Go horn
Yes.
frogs.
Horn
Whoa.
frogs.
That's
We're
what
really
we were.
tiny, so if you don't see it, you're gonna wanna.
All right, and then you went here because you're going to the bathroom.
There I am.
There you are in the bathroom. Now that you know that where you're at, and all right, so there is Aegis and Panabon went this way in a moment. We'll figure that out.
Don't forget to drop the tech token so I can see.
Yes, the tech token is over with the others.
There it is.
Oh, I see it now. Okay.
So, all right. Well,
I'm going to share
Panabon?
with our audience. Don't worry. I'm just getting it set up.
all right. So you've looked at the ledger. You've stated that it's all about first names here, and he says to you, "Okay, well, please have a seat. If you would give me a moment, I will find Miss Flaglight and inform her of your arrival."
Okay, perfect.
All right.
I sit in a chair.
I follow Panabon.
Okay. Shaylin, what are you doing in the bathroom? Just walking in and then like
That's
counting to 10 and walking
inappropriate
out?
question to ask, Danny.
It's
What
key.
does it matter? Maybe I'm pooping. Maybe I'm washing my hands. Maybe I'm
You
fixing
should
my
wash your
hair.
hands
Roll
before you
Constitution.
use it.
Danny's face.
This is why we're rated whatever we're rated.
Because I said pooping?
Not high enough.
In the bathroom, Shay is, she's just kind of looking in the mirror, just pacing, taking her time before she goes back out. She doesn't have to go.
Okay.
You're
So Lox is taking a seat. Aegis is waiting.
I'll drag a chair out and sit on it.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, Danny! I tried to move my character onto a seat, and now it's got a weird distance thing. I don't know if you can see it. but
Yeah,
you can.
delete.
That just means that
Oh, it's like I move and you have to approve it now.
There you go.
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of what that's about.
He has to approve that you can sit on your ass.
All right, stop moving around for a second. Jeez. All right. Okay. Panabon, you are kind of circling around. Perunia, you decided to go follow Panabon?
I did.
All right. That's where folks are at. And Shayloon, you are just looking in the mirror and then heading back, like
Yeah.
counting to 10. Okay.
I'm gonna count to like 30 because ladies take longer.
Panabon, what are you doing in this room?
I'm cursing myself for not being able to speak Ashani or read Ashani for one thing, because it's super inconvenient. So this room, these are books on different shelves. I didn't mean to actually do that. Is anything stick out? Like if I guess I could like try to like Arcana sense or something. I don't know. Perception. Arcana. Maybe.
I'll roll a perception behind them.
You don't even know what we're doing here, guys.
So you guys are gonna just start kind of checking out the books in here. That's what
We're
I'm
just
hearing.
know what we're
curious,
doing.
all right?
Okay.
They're at a library, Dan. Just because they have a thirst for knowledge doesn't mean you should like shame them for it.
This is not about shaming anybody. This is just about figuring out what happens here. All right, Shayloon, as you are going back into the library, the
Oh, was a bummer.
clerk is walking out. Miss Flaglight, you have friends. A rather unruly bunch have arrived, and they're looking for you. I must say, they do not look the scholarly type.
I made it clear I was not.
Was there another gnome with them? Yellow,
I did not see
bejeweled
no.
eyebrows.
No, I did not see such an individual. There was a dragonborn, a man who looked to be from maybe Istapanur, or, well, his manner of dress in any case. And another who perhaps hails from as far away as Dinang.
All right. Okay. Are they at the front or they're harmless, but they do interrupt my studies. I just traveled with them to get down here for my research, so that's why they're here. I don't know why they would want to come to the library while I study, but here we are.
Indeed.
Oh, terrible at this. You're all just terrible at this.
Shayloon's also terrible at it. So
Hey, at
we'll
least
say
we got
that.
her membership card before we interrupt.
I designed this character to be terrible at lying, guys.
Shall I tell them that you will meet up with them later?
I'll come out and see what they want.
Very good. Okay, so with that, he goes in that door, but you're forced to go this way. And hey, as you walk past this door, you see those two Yohos. And what you say to them, we'll find out on the other end of our 10-minute break, because it's already an hour and a half into our session, and it doesn't even feel like that. So
we'll be back
see everybody on the
right
other side
after
of
break.
Thank you, Tan.
All right, thanks for sticking with us during that break. So with that said, you see Panabon and Perunia in this little side room, Sarah with Shayloon.
Oh, right, the game. Oh, you two.
Hello.
Is the clerk with me?
No, the clerk went into
okay.
the clerk area and is expecting you to come around.
What are you doing in here?
This is like the smallest library ever. These are all the books they have in this city. This is not enough books.
I set the books down that Perunia was holding for not sure what reason.
Well, I came to try to find some magic books, but they're all locked up, so
can they be unlocked?
I don't know. I didn't find where they were locked up, but
So there's more libraries, so I could like go looking for the books, right?
Okay, right. Don't get sidetracked though, Panabon. We're here to get Shailene
No.
so we could go do other
But
stuff.
this is helpful though, because I mean, if we got to go to the scholar's house anyways, like if
What-
we know what kind of magic they're using here,
What
it's like a whole thing.
scholar?
I don't know all of them. I'm gonna stab someone, I guess. Who knows?
I believe his name is Raoul.
There's a scholar named Raoul.
And
Sure, why not?
Rosario.
And what?
Rosario is
Rosario.
well, yeah.
Reminds me of Rosalia.
Yes, but it's not Rosalia, obviously. There's also a Kiel Setu. I heard a lot of names the last couple days. It's one of those.
Um.
The point is, we know where he lives,
All right.
and we're gonna go there.
Why do we need him? I'm confused. Where have you guys been?
I-
How long does a bath take?
I had a meeting that I had to take, and everyone kept trying to tell me how to do my job.
Good.
A little offensive. A little offensive, to be honest.
They're
all
no, it's
terrible rogues.
absolutely what they should be doing.
You'd all be terrible rogues. I love you all, but you're all terrible. You're all just terrible. No offense.
We're all terrible rogues.
That is the actual
All of
fact.
us. All 5.
Anyway, we're not here to disturb your studies. We're here to get you because if the scholar has important books about the, miming the glove, about, we need you
Hand
to
puppets?
make sure that you see them. Yes,
If
the
it's a
hand
hand
puppet.
puppet scholar?
That's
And,
not what I saw.
and anyway, he's in league with the Dark Claws that are here.
The Dark Claws.
The Dragonborn Inquisition.
Oh, wait.
They're called Dark Claws.
So
It's a
he's
thing.
involved with them?
Yes, that's why we need you to come with us while we search his house. Yes!
I mean, I feel like that a lot of this is taking a long time, but also I just want to stab somebody. Eviler the better.
We're not
So.
stabbing anyone. What do
I
we
mean,
need at
are
his
you
house?
sure?
I'm confused. What are we looking for? I
Okay.
haven't seen you guys since you left for the bath.
You're not gonna like this. I'm gonna tell you anyways, and you can yell at me later.
Can we tell her not in the library? That would be
I
good.
mean-
Can we tell her later? Let's leave the library.
But we just got here. I want to steal something. Can I steal something from the library at
I
least?
think you need a card for that.
Do I look like kind of person that gets a library card? Honestly,
I hand him the top book of
It's a
my
steal.
stack. Here you go.
now you're just patronizing me. Now you're being patronizing. No, like seriously, do you want me to look for like the magic scroll books or whatever it is? Like, tell me what they look like, and I can just like get them for you, and then you could look at them at your own leisure, and I can bring them back when you're done.
I do the thing where I just like look at the two of them back and forth and turn around and walk out back to the entrance.
As you do that, so the door opens. The door opens, locks in Aegis.
And I'm playing a harmonica in the
And-
library.
And the clerk steps in. Where did the Dragonborn go?
Maybe to the restroom.
Yes.
Her bodily function are none of my business.
I see.
We're
I believe-
leaving. I'll be back later. Sorry for the interruption.
All right. And I look because that's the door that they came out of. Is our friends back from the restroom? Good.
I don't know if Brunia and Panabon followed me out or if they're still talking about books to steal or something.
I didn't follow, so I didn't necessarily agree to leaving the library. I'm not actually sure anything happened in that room agreement-wise.
Well, Prunia's gonna rock out because Prunia had been identified by the doorkeeper, so Prunia comes out.
I'm gonna stay in the library. As far as I'm aware, no one actually knows I'm there. So I'm just gonna
Sorry,
keep-
had to find the restroom. I found it. I'm good.
See? I told you she was relieving herself. I make eye contact when I tell the person that.
That's good to know.
Spicy food this morning, you know.
And I look over at Shayloon with a face that's like, "Oh, great researcher, Lampira Lamplight or Lampira, we have come to talk with you. We apologize for taking you away from your studies. Please."
Why are you talking like that?
It's me acting in front of the dude. He goes,
This
is the only character I actually said that to you.
Where's Panabon?
We know.
yeah, yeah.
Panabon, get out here. We're leaving.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm right behind you.
I said Panabon. Are you Panabon?
I mean, I could be.
I don't know. You are not.
You guys have been
Tall
back
for Panabon.
I've seen you guys for 30 seconds, and the chaos that has ensued is ridiculous.
Oh, you missed us.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Panabon, you hear Shayloon calling for you.
I sigh and I realize that this is not going to be my day. There's just absolutely no subtlety to these people. And I'm wondering how we haven't managed to get ourselves blown up thus far. Because I could totally be like cruising this library and nobody would even know I'm here. And now my name has been said, so now people are going to know I'm here. So I guess I have to leave the library, which seems like a silly thing to do. How tall is the library, out of curiosity? Like,
It's fairly tall.
so I couldn't like just scale it without being seen.
Probably not.
Sad.
I mean, you would spend much time scaling if that's what you're getting at.
Okay, so what I'm going to actually attempt to do is I'm going to stand to the edge of the door where Shayloon is in my line of sight, and I'm going to make that hand motion where it's like, leave. They don't know I'm actually here. And I don't know if Shayloon's going to know what that hand motion means. So it's be like, go, I'll do recon for you.
I look at the clerk and I say, we are missing one member of our party. There was another gnome with us a moment ago.
He got off his leash.
They may be somewhere in your library. You may want to check to make sure.
Yeah, very well. And he gets up and confusedly walks out to go look for
which direction?
Some other gnome. Out this door. It opens and then closes.
I see the hand movement, and I go, Panabon, come on, we're leaving.
Or you could go and I could stay here and look for the magic
You're
books.
the one that literally just told me that we have to go to this scholars whatever, and now you're like, no, I don't want to go. Like, make a choice.
Guys, you guys are really bad at this. We could literally do, like...
We don't have business here, Panabon. We have nothing that we need here.
I mean, there are magic books here. We need those.
We don't know what's
We can look at them ourselves.
We live in a world with magic now. So now we need magic books. I don't know. Fine. Let's go. Let's go. We're going to go and we're going to announce ourselves to the scholars, and it's going to be chaos.
You are going to sneak in there.
I mean, based upon how this day is going, I'm not going to be sneaking anywhere, apparently. Milford and above, come on, let's go. We got things to do. And I march out of the library indignantly.
I follow.
Okay. You have left the library.
Left the library.
That only took a whole session. Fine. Everything's fine.
Not sure if Danny's laughing or crying right now.
We're good. It's lovely.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
Where are you going now?
I'm marching towards
Actually, I'm thinking we go to the beach, Danny. You know, that side filler episode where it's all about just trying to get ramen, you know?
Where have you all been, and what sort of trouble
Clockwork
did you get
bebop.
into?
We were at the bathhouse.
And
That's how it
then
started.
And then there were assassins that attacked, and then the Panabon went and had a meeting with some of the secret people in the town or something. The
Do air
thieves
quotes.
guild.
That belittles our work.
They talked about gardening. You know the norms.
Ooh, somehow we have attracted the attention of the underground here. Well,
By the way, my
Panabon
name is Zivid. So if anybody asks, I'm actually Zivid.
Zivid has this. Zivid, oh my God, rate that back, strike it. Panabon has decided to spread around the rumor that they are Zivid, and that to draw attention away from the real Zivid.
So someone may or may not be hunting Zivids, which is why he's hiding back at the place. And then also, we know for months, Panabon, that we've been hunted. So now you just put 2 targets on yourself.
I mean, if you think I just have 2 targets on me, that's nice of you. That's very kind of you.
That's actually probably a low count. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you've got to know that I'm just the kind of person that attracts things. Like,
Yeah, but maybe if you stopped being you.
but I'm trying to help. See, because if people think I'm Zivid, then the real Zivid is not only safe, but then when they see the things I do, they'll think Zivid can do those things too. And it makes sense for me to pretend to be Zivid. People don't know what gnomes look like. That's one of the great things about us. We're low to the ground. They don't pay attention to us. It's great.
Anyway, importantly, those people said that whatever they think your name is can go get rid of the dark claws that are bothering this city. So he's got a license. They've got a license to kill. So
Wait, to kill who? They want to get rid of the dark claws, right? That's what I'm understanding. All right.
They're bad.
And
They're
so,
bad.
what is
and
their
they
grand-
hired the assassins.
Wait, who did? The thieves?
No,
That's
no,
for my
no.
help.
The dark claws.
The dark claws asked the thieves for help?
No.
No,
They
they're
hired
The assassins.
Yeah.
The
Assassins
dark,
are not thieves.
the dark
good.
claws hired the assassins that attacked you all.
Yes. And
Dear
the
Lord.
thieves don't like the assassins. Mm-mm.
Okay.
All right.
It's a pride of job thing. It's what it is. You just don't
So
cross the thieving.
the thieves want us to do what?
Kill assassins and dark claws and gave Panabon a license to kill.
Is this a
Oh, and they
document?
said no, I'm not joking. And they said that the scholar is in league with the dark claws. And so
Okay,
that's why we want to go investigate the scholar.
So this scholar is in league with. Have we asked your boyfriend about?
The scholar was there, Shayloon, if you remember, when they came to talk to us and they were trying to find Zivid. That's the same scholar who was with Tiske and the other dragon claws that were there.
We're still not sure if we trust Tiske.
We're not sure if we trust Tiske, but Tiske is also not sure that he trusts the other dark claws and this scholar. So Tiske was mentioning this scholar too. So, I think that if we want to verify that this is a baddie or not, checking out his house is not a bad idea.
So, if I'm understanding this, the thieves are hiring Panabon to kill a scholar.
More like giving him a pass.
I mean, I was just going to rifle through this
why?
stuff and find out information, and if I needed to stab, I was going to stab. But if you're telling me I can just stab full tilt and not even look at information,
I am not telling you that. That is not what I am
No
telling
one
you.
is saying that.
Oh, I was trying so hard right there. I really was hoping that would work. Aegis, can I have some tea while we figure this out? I feel like this is a conversation that is taking
He
a
does
long
not
time.
need caffeine. They do
I'd
not
rather
need
a
caffeine.
beer.
Wait. This is Roland. Out of game conversation. Were we really supposed to go and kill the scholar? I thought we were supposed to go there.
No,
I thought we were supposed to go in there and get information.
Investigate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Making
Oh,
sure,
they can-
'cause I didn't, that was not a
Also-
part of the conversation last time we played. Okay, back into the game. Essentially, at this point, we are expecting Panabon to go into the scholar's house quietly and gather information. That is what we are supposed to be doing at this point, Miss Shelu.
And I look at Shaylin and go, and let's be honest, all of us need to give Panabon a little bit of trust. And I know we don't want to sometimes, but Panabon has done what they can for the group when they can. And I think they may deserve a little bit more trust.
The last thing they
importantly-
said was literally trying to get us to let them stab and kill people.
Right.
I
Which
mean,
is what
is that out of character for me? I ask you, like.
But Shaylin, I
like
think
being
that
effective.
you need to go too, because the scholar will, if the scholar has things on the handwear, I feel like you're going to be the best person to identify that. So Pianobon might be the best sneaker, but you're going to be the best at identifying whether or not this is like a baddie or not. Like to actually read his papers.
Oh, that's good. That is something I need because I can't read Vaishan. If someone could write down a couple of like
Oh, no.
magic-looking words for
But
Vaishan,
you
so
have
I
an
actually know what I'm
invisible
looking
thingy,
for,
can't you? Like do that to yourself, Shay?
like a little key or something like that. What does the word magic look like in Vaishan? Like arcane.
My face is super serious, and I'm looking at Panabon, and I'm trying to make eye contact with Shade. My expression is kind of like trying to like get her on the same page. Like, let's see what happens with Panabon. I don't know if I can speak that much with my eyes, but that's essentially like kind of like I'm unsure. When I look at Panabon, I look kind of like unsure, but I try to make eye contact with Shay to be kind of like.
Well, we did just get 600 bits, so. Thank you,
Wait,
Tony.
what does that mean? We got
That means
In chat,
that she
in chat.
says yes.
so confused.
Fine. We'll go search the house.
I'll stay, within arm's foot race distance to get in case anything goes wrong. I can cover the front, Lox can maybe cover the back, Aegis can drink tea. I mean, it's all good.
I am adamant about allowing Panabon to do their job, so I will not help. Y'all can do what you want to. Y'all is not something that someone would say. You can do as you wish, but I will not assist this time, unless Panabon should be dragged out dead. Then
I
will
don't
help.
think I would die. I'm too charming to die.
Well, the goal, and I look back at Panabon, is not to get caught and to be.
Why would I get
sneaky.
caught? That's just silly.
Shh. Nope, you're right. You got this. And I look
Pull
at
out the
Shaylin.
map.
Yep. I think that's where we're heading.
You're in the vicinity since the Great Library is near the palace and the scholar's abode is also somewhat near the palace. It is not going to take you that long to get there. And so, give me a second here. All right. Make sure everything is set properly.
And while we're getting ready to go there, knowing that some of the Dragonborn might be aware of what I look like, I changed my hairstyle. Of course, Dragonborn have more like hard quill type spiky things, like that look kind of like flexible dreads. And so she like changes her hairstyle, thinking that is gonna do it. And like puts a like a scarf kind of around her face.
As you do. As you do.
Make a spike hawk.
Mhm.
I mean, that would be attracting more attention that she's going for. I think she's doing a very big bun.
Okay, so I am placing you all on the map. I
Oh yeah, the
am
map.
setting up a sync view for everybody so you see where you're at. So this is what you see. There is, on the south side of this particular mesa or butte, there's a wall that is lining the edge. So on the other side of that wall to the south is down.
I still have the library map up.
You might just need to close it. Maybe it's under it. It's not as big as the other one.
Oh, okay. Okay. Hee.
And then and then on the north is the actual building, the mesa wall itself, with doors that lead into the mesa, where there are apparently maybe some houses. If you look up, they're kind of hard to see from this distance on the map, but I will zoom in real quick here and reset. So this house right here, the one in the middle, there's two dark claws standing out in front of it, and they are apparently guarding. And there's a vendor selling apples. And that is what we see here.
You guys, we can definitely stage a distraction.
Could we maybe scope things out and make sure that nobody's home? And also, I'd like to prepare a new set of spells. But some reconnaissance would be smart instead of just going.
Reconnaissance for reconnaissance.
Should I knock on the door? Ask if anyone's home?
I'm gonna walk over to the apple cart and get an apple and just stand there.
I
Sorry,
can
do it.
fight Aegis, and then they'll come look, and then you guys can sneak in and do some reconnaissance.
I'll go check out the back of the house and make sure nothing's happening.
Okay, so we're doing this. I go ahead and cast invisibility.
You literally just said to do some reconnaissance. That's what I say I'm doing. Why? Why?
So
Because,
wait,
like-
Shayloon, you cast what?
Invisibility.
On yourself?
Yeah.
Okay. With that, it is after 10, which is our stopping time at the moment. And this is a good place to stop, because if we continue on, we're going to be going for a minute.
Okay.
So let us pick up next week at the beginning of this reconnaissance for the reconnaissance.
Should I try to play the trailer?
Yeah. I'm sure everybody wants to see the trailer.
Let's
I'm happy to see it again.
see if I can pull it off. Here we go.
In the land revealed beyond the shroud, they came in search of answers. Drum had always known her place, but Imari never found hers. Which stories rest in this arcane book? What tales can be spun? Who covets its mystic pages? And to what lengths will they go? Perhaps a mythkeeper will weave together these tales in an age to come. But we have an opportune luxury, my friend. For we can see this magnificent performance with our own eyes. Just have your tickets ready. Coddlesworth's Clockwork Circus, Issue 2. It's time to start the show.
And that is the trailer. Winston did a bang up job with that. I mean, 100%. The animations, just everything about it is just on point. Super excited to see it. And Sarah is super excited to put a face to a name.
Yeah, I don't like that guy.
I've done my job. All right. So thank you very much for joining us. I had a great time watching these guys muddle their way through a library. And when we return, do join us next week because it's going to be something's going to happen. It could be good. It could be bad. Something's going to happen. And so yes, join us next Sunday, like clockwork. Thank you.